Oftentimes it really is. Risky behavior is, when we look at ADHD, we're looking at a couple of different things. Back before the latest release of the American Psychiatric Association's diagnostic manual, we had ADHD and we had ADD. And so even today we'll have people say, oh no, I'm ADD, I'm not ADHD. And so when the latest manual came out, which is DSM-5, they put it all under one umbrella and they called it just ADHD. But then they said, okay, there's ADHD that is primarily inattention. There's ADHD that is primarily hyperactive impulsive. And then there's a combined kind of ADHD. So now we really are talking about everything is ADHD, but it can look differently between one and the other. So now we look at behavior and we begin to say, all right, now risky behavior can come from either one. Sometimes risky behavior comes from the inattention. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, what I'm supposed to be doing, and things just happen. And they create problems, and then risk is the result. The other piece is now if you get over to which we normally see is the hyperactive impulsive child. When that teen does things, they do and maybe or maybe not think about it later. So just quickly, something happens, they jump at it, they go into it, they don't think about the results, the consequences, short or long term, and they get themselves in trouble. It can be the things that we're seeing on social media, where they decide, oh, it's a great idea to take a picture of this or that and post it on social media, never realizing that it never goes anywhere, it will be there forever. And so and then with their friends, the same kinds of things. You take several boys and girls together who have ADHD or impulsive kinds of things or other kinds of issues, and then somebody comes up with their own harebrained idea, and it sounds wonderful at the time, and it's going to be fun, and sometimes it turns out good, sometimes it doesn't turn out so well. So the risky behavior can be a very big part of ADHD. However, there's other kinds of things that could create risky behavior. We know that children with autism, for instance, oftentimes are not aware of safety issues. And as a result of that, they will do things because they are not quite connected to it. So risky behavior can come in those areas. Children who are more socially maladjusted, who really don't have a regard for other people's safety and worth and being at times, and are just into their own interests and activities, can get into a lot of risky behaviors because it's all about them and they really aren't taking into consideration other people. So the reality is, can it be about ADHD? Absolutely, it's pretty typical, it would be. But it also has some other kinds of things. So when you look at risky behavior, you really want to take a little bit of time to say, what is it they're doing? How often are they doing? How difficult is the consequences they're going to face with it? Is it something that it's risky and it's a good learning experience, so that by doing it now and getting the consequences and going through the experience, it will benefit them, because maybe at 15, it's not quite so difficult, the cost, as if you're at 20 or you're 25 doing the same thing. So is it something that's risky that provides good learning and experience and to make longer decisions later on, or is it risky behavior that is very dangerous and potentially harmful to them or to other people? So it can be the ADHD, which probably a lot is, but there's also kind of other areas that you really want to check on. Kids with depression, for instance, who lose all kinds of sense of enjoyment or pleasure in activities, can oftentimes do risky behavior, can do some suicidal attempt kinds of behaviors, that they don't really want to die, but they might do some things because they're hurting, they want to stop the hurting, and yet then sometimes they don't make it to the successful stop. So lots of reasons you just want to explore as to what might be going on. Sometimes you really need a professional to sit down and talk and help sort out what this risky behavior really is about.